guys, welcome back to my channel. It's BB9. Today I want to talk to you guys about Howard College in general, not specifically Howard, but how I got accepted into college. Let's just get into the video. So high school, graduated in 2018. Shout out to everybody, class of 2018, class of 2022. You know, I already know we're the best. Basically I graduated high school in May, but before I graduated I started applying to colleges like September, October, around then, because I want to do early action. The first thing that you should do is decide which schools you want to apply to, and then look at the schools and make sure that you're choosing the ones. If you're going to do early action, make sure that it's not early decision, I think that's what it's called, because if you do early decision, then you have to commit to going to that school if you get accepted. So I made a list of the schools that I want to go to, talk to my mom, talk to my friends, but most importantly, know what school that you specifically want to go to. Don't worry about anybody else. Make a list of the schools you want to go to. Look at the application deadlines for the early applications and for the regular applications. Some schools, they do have rolling admissions, so basically that is like, it goes on an ongoing basis, so there's no deadline, so to speak, but it goes on and on. So my four schools were Spelman, Howard, Clark Atlanta. Was it Clark Atlanta? I don't know. Spelman, Howard, Xavier, and I think it was Clark Atlanta, and Hampton. So maybe it wasn't Clark. I don't think it was Clark. So it was Hampton, Xavier, Howard, and Spelman. I applied to those four schools, and I applied to all of them early action. So when you're applying early action, make sure that your GPA is good, because you're just becoming a senior. They're not really asking for like your senior grades because you haven't even completed them yet. So basically it's based off of what you did all throughout up until then, up until that specific point. You have to take the SAT and ACT, of course. That was a process that I was definitely struggling with, and if you're a good test taker, then you should definitely apply early action if you have those good test scores, and definitely take the test as many times as you can, and start taking the tests as early as you can. I felt like the ACT was better overall, as in my scores were better, but when I was taking it, it was like terrible because I work really slow. I do work well, but I work slow. I took the ACT first, and my first score I got a 21, and then the second time around I got a 23. So those are my two ACT scores, and then in between that I was taking the SAT. So the first time I took it I got a 1050, and then I got an 1160, and then the third time I took it I went down and I got an 1150. So yeah, that was a struggle, and I was so upset because it's like, how do you take the SAT and you go down? How'd that work? That don't make no sense. What you need to do is make a comparison chart of like your scores. So if my 20 something on the ACT, what is that equivalent to on the SAT, so you can see which one is better and send that to your school. As far as like the essay, I applied through Common App, so you use the same, when you're on a Common App, you kind of use the same essay through for all the schools that you're applying to, unless they specify like a different essay. When you're writing your essays, make sure that you're talking about things that showcase your talents and showcase something that maybe you have overcome or something that you've done. You don't just want to write about just anything. Especially, I don't know, they change the prompts every year, so I don't know what the prompt has been for this past year, or it's going to be for next year. But choose the best prompt for you that you feel like you can write, and make sure that you're showcasing yourself in the best light possible, because a lot of times people just want to talk about, oh, the prompt may be like, oh, where do you see yourself in 5 years, blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, I see myself being a doctor and I'm going to do, no, I mean, yeah, you can talk about where you see yourself, but they really want to know what you've done previously, what you've done, and what are you going to do when you get into college. So that's what you have to show them. I do not remember my essay, and my computer is dead right now for me to go look at it. But basically, it was talking about like stuff that I've overcome, challenges that I faced in high school, how I've overcome those. Those are really good topics to talk about if you're going to start for your essay. Got me fumbling and stumbling and stuff. Accolades and activities and all that. So you want to make sure that you're, of course, putting yourself, it's like a job interview basically. You're trying to win the position. So you're not going to say that all these bad things about yourself are things that you haven't done. If you haven't done anything, girl, you better make it up, boy. You better make that up. If you play soccer, you better be like, oh, you played soccer like 10 years ago or 5 years ago, whatever. Somehow tie that into what you're doing in high school. Oh, I've managed to get these certain grades while I did this at the same time, and I'm very well-rounded. I know how to do multiple things. They want to see well-roundedness. They want to know that you're able to do multiple things such as clubs, maintaining your grades, being a leader. There's other stuff, but I really don't know. I ain't been in high school in forever. As far as me in high school, I was not doing what I should. No, I was doing what I should have been doing, but I could have been doing a lot more. Like, there was people in presidents of clubs and what is that? Student government association, all that. You know how they be like the president of the school and all that. I wasn't in any of that, but I did join FBLA. I joined National Honor Society. You know how you get the little thing in the mail, like the National Scholar Honor Society. So you just have to remember all of the things that you were doing. Like, I had the highest GPA I had the highest grade in my English class junior year, and when I was applying, it was the beginning of senior year, so I didn't have anything to compare senior year. So I put that on there. The clubs that you joined, even if you may not have finished them, which is, I know that's wrong, but you started something, you were in it. Be creative. Don't get discouraged. Please don't get discouraged, because you never know. Schools definitely, they just want the best people for them, and of course the people who are going to pay the money. So if you're a good student, you make good grades, and if you don't make good grades, you can make it up in other areas such as your activities, your essays. It's not all about just one thing. They're looking at everything overall. That's pretty much it. Let me think. Apply for FAFSA ASAP, because college is expensive, especially if you go into Howard. Howard is expensive. Spelman is expensive. Xavier, they all expensive, okay? So make sure that you're applying for your scholarships, financial aid, and you have to do that every year. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. $50,000 a year, $40,000 a year. Who has that? Like, nobody. Another thing is recommendations. So make sure that you're getting your recommendations from your counselor and your teachers. Those are important recommendations to get. Now, this is something that you should also be working on right now. If you're still in high school and you haven't started applying to colleges yet, make sure you have like those 1, 2, or 3 teachers that you know you can count on for recommendations. All the time, you need to listen to what you know is best for you. And I cannot stress that enough, because people are going to try and steer you. They're not going to try and steer you in the wrong direction, but they're going to try and steer you in the direction that they want you to go in, and you need to focus on the direction that you want yourself to go in. That's the most important thing. So if you want to apply early action, do it. If you want to apply regular decision, then you should do that. But make sure that you're looking at the pros and cons of everything. If you want to apply to this school in New York, do that. If you want to apply to school in California, do that. Do not let anybody stop you. Don't let what the test scores say stop you, because you really never know what can happen. But that's all that I have for tips getting into college. This wasn't really about Howard. I can get more specific into Howard, but getting accepted into school, I mean, like, that's everywhere. But yeah, that's basically, I did decide to go to Howard University. I got accepted December 2017. Whew. December 2017 to school in August and ended my last year in May. So we'll talk about that. I do not attend Howard University anymore, but I'll leave that for another video. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions, comments, concerns, especially about college, definitely answer any of those for you guys. You can DM me on Instagram. A lot of you guys have been DMing me on Instagram, and you can continue to do that. Comment down below any questions you may have or videos that you want me to cover, and I'll see y'all next time.